Well, it's official. It's officially cold as shit. It's officially cold as shit. There is the turn in the year where it's like, no. Oh, it's official. It's officially cold as shit. And since we've last seen you, I think has been the week where many times I have proclaimed that it's Guinness World Record officiated cold as shit.
Yep.
How are you, Andrew?
Let's address the elephant in the room.
You've not been doing great mentally at the moment, have you?
I've been doing just fine. Stop trying to diminish good things in my life.
Let's talk about the elephant in the room, Andrew. We're all really worried about you.
Let's address the real elephant in the room.
Okay. I guess it's bigger than how you're feeling, isn't it?
Yeah, it's bigger than anything.
It goes but further back, doesn't it?
It goes far further back.
It's an elephant in the room.
It's the big elephant. Let's just address it.
Sorry. I didn't mean to talk about Andrew's mental health troubles.
Because you see how he always has to try and ruin nice things for me.
No, I didn't mean to. Sorry. Andrew's got a new pair.
I have a new pair of Crocs. How would you not fucking realise that's what was happening?
No, I did realise.
Okay.
I was actually just playing with you. Very impressive pair of Crocs.
If you're mostly an audio listener, just quickly switch to YouTube.
Or maybe look at the thumbnail. Well, I'll probably have it.
Probably the thumbnail. I'll get a better view of it there.
But an extraordinary pair of Crocs. And, you know, as you've much bemoaned your financial situation, it's very rare when you recently when you've been able to splash out on a little treat yourself.
This is the first item that I've purchased in about 2 years, I think. Other than some pants.
And that t-shirt.
Yeah. The pants and the t-shirt. Oh, I'm wearing all my new things.
It's like just after Christmas Day.
It really is. So I splashed out on some Crocs for the Black Friday sales.
And they're real.
They're real Crocs. They're not frocks anymore.
To be honest, it's not splashing out because it is an investment. Do you know what I mean?
Yeah, absolutely.
It's very much like, it's like a tool.
And my current...
It's like workwear. You know?
Yeah, it is.
It's like when the lumberjacks buy Carhartt, dungarees.
But who knew workwear could be this fun?
It's so much fun.
It's so much fun. My current, or now old Crocs, had a big hole in the bottom. So when it was raining and I needed to go get some beans from the offie, I'd just get wet socks.
You don't want wet socks while you're eating beans.
That's
a really depressing combo.
It really is.
When you're heating up some beans and your socks are wet,
That's
not. Things have not turned out how they're
meant to. But now with these all-terrain based footwear, it's good for all. If it rains, if it's muddy outside, if it's slippery, it's going to be there to really keep me up, but also get me there and back in style. Now, the new thing that I've got with these Crocs, which I haven't had at any point in my life, because, I mean, the last Crocs that you guys saw were the first pair of Crocs I owned, and they were actually frocks.
How much did they cost?
They were bought probably, I reckon they were £20, bought by my stepfather, because I kept stealing his slippers for sexual reasons. But these are my own pair that I've bought myself. Key difference is we've got some fur lining this time.
Yeah, that is. I have seen quite a few Crocs in my time. I've never seen that innovation.
Fur lining, so it's a daisy theme, and they're black with daisies on, and then the lining is yellow.
Is there room for widgets?
Of course, there's always.
I don't know. I wonder if the lining. No, the lining.
No, the lining. It won't. There's always room for widgets.
Okay, good.
That's the motto of the Croc. No matter how much innovation they'll bring to the company, the different products they'll push out, there'll always be room for the widget.
Yeah.
So again, widgets. Who needs a widget when you're walking around in these bad boys?
Yeah, it's true. It feels like overkill.
What I am gonna look into is I'm trying to find a hoodie or a jacket that is also daisies.
Or Crocs. Crocs I think have other branded.
But you're missing the point there. I don't just want to completely kit out with Croc branded.
It'd actually look kind of.
It would look kind of.
It would look kind of sick if you had like a Croc windbreaker. And like a Croc bucket hat and like Croc baggy trousers, it would be fucking hard.
It is in its post-Internet world. I think it would really smash.
Hard as a look.
But no, I want to find a matching daisy jacket so I can wear the.
Or like a daisy jumpsuit. You know what those lots of white women entering their late 20s, early 30s wear?
Yeah, jumpsuit could work.
I think if you had a daisy tight little to get your pert little arse in a jumpsuit, would be nice.
Yeah, my bum looked great in a jumpsuit. Actually, that's true.
Yeah.
I'd be quite the belle of the ball. But these arrived today. So spirits.
We should have done an unboxing.
Spirits
we should put it on
Patreon. No, I didn't think to do that. Also, yeah, I've with the frocks, I would never fuck with sport mode, but I think I fuck a lot more with sport mode on these.
It feels like it's quite tight. Is a tighter sports mode than usual, I feel, or does it normally? I thought it'd extend to the end of the shoe, but the sport mode thing, it seems to be really throwing you into your future.
And I think that's the point of the more newer design of the Crocs. Maybe because what's the point of sport mode if it's not tugging you into your future? You've really got to get your feet snug in the Croc. Otherwise, how can you do all the activities that you want to do when you just flip to sport mode?
When you're on the website looking for Crocs, do they
Which
advertise
I often am,
it?
yes, continue.
Does it say like V5.0? Do they brand it as a new version, the new Croc with like, and then list the improvements and stuff?
That's an excellent question, and I'll be happy to go into it.
Please.
They'll call it a classic clog. What I'm wearing now is a classic clog, which is the Croc design that we all know and love, with a variation on the actual on the aesthetics.
Sure,
but that's
like
your classic
Domino's
clog.
Create your own sort of.
Exactly. Yeah, that's your classic clog. But they do a lot of other types now. They do some more slip-ons.
Yeah.
They've got some heavier booty shoes.
Sure.
So they'll
Croc loungewear.
There's some Croc vernacular, sure.
Sure. Croc boat shoes.
Sure. I think they do Croc flops or flip Crocs.
Sorry to point it out. Crocs seem to be the perfect shoe for.
I'm going to stop you there. Let's just call it there. Let's just stop it there, and everyone should get a Croc because they're the perfect shoe.
That might be the ideal shoe for a hardcore gay sex club.
Because you can wipe all the cum off easily.
Well, because you'll be walking around and there'll be lots of cum on the floor.
Yeah.
So
it's sturdy.
It feels like the absolute ideal because you can slip them off.
But how much cum are you willing to get on your feet?
What do you mean?
Well, because unless they're fur lined, then it's going to drip through the holes into your feet, isn't it?
That's true. Maybe they're not the perfect.
Maybe they're not. Because also, even if they are fur lined, it's not going to go directly onto your naked foot, but it's going to stay in the fur.
Yeah,
which is worse.
Which is much worse.
I prefer to be able to wipe off cum in a shower at the end of an orgy rather than having to wash.
What I would do is I'd plug all the holes with Pride widgets to show my support. And
so you're at a gay orgy then?
Yeah, that's what I said. Gay sex.
Okay, right.
Because there's more cum at a gay orgy than there is at a normal orgy. There's twice as much.
That shows your age, doesn't it? Fucking hell, man.
No, there's twice as much cum. Famously.
Well, what? Famously?
Twice as much. That's why
because women can't ejaculate, can they? You've never seen one come, have you? It's just a myth.
It's a myth. It's like Bigfoot.
Yeah.
The female orgasm is like Bigfoot.
Doesn't happen.
It's like the Loch Ness monster. I've seen pictures, but then it's come out as fake afterwards.
Never seen one myself. I'm not going to believe what I read in the papers.
Do your own research.
Right, that's becoming uncomfortable. So take one last look.
Yeah.
There you go. And now they're down.
Because I wonder with the versions of Croc though, I wonder if like is there like a maverick personality cult around someone who owns Crocs? I don't know. Is it like a Steve Jobs figure who presents the new Crocs?
No. I think it's
an event.
We've got to think of Crocs. We have to put Crocs within the historical context.
In the context of their time, yeah.
Of course. And they came out as a practical footwear. It's like why I fell in love with them, other than their obvious style, is that it's the perfect shoe you put by your outside door,
sure,
into your backyard or something. If you need to pop out to the garage, you've got a few shoes there. And what the Croc does well is versatile between indoor and outdoor wear.
Yeah.
So
amphibious. It's an amphibious.
It's
vehicle.
an amphibious shoe. But of course. So that versatility. Because they're comfy as balls to wear around indoors.
Sure. Comfy as big old balls.
Comfy, big old cushy balls. But so that's what I imagine the Maverick creator of the Crocs was thinking. He's thinking, how am I going to solve the solution of the
crisis?
The crisis of the lack of amphibious footwear in the market. So he comes up with the Croc.
Yeah.
Crocs then become something that are very popular with kids and children. That's when your widgets come in. People start to see the fashion and fun potential in the Croc.
But it sounds a bit like when Steve Jobs released the iPod Touch, in lots of different colours. You know those adverts where they're...
Comparable technologically, not necessarily fashion-wise.
Sure. But I'd imagine that there's like a similar style HQ to Apple at Croc, and there's loads of people working on loads of different... Just Crocs. New ideas of just different types.
Well, again, it's the Croc. Yeah, we could honestly do an hour. We joked about this, but the Croc is also the perfect symbol of our post-ironic world because it starts off as something that is taken the piss out of.
Yeah.
Basically. Well, it starts off maybe normal, and then when people, it's like what your dad wears or something. They're an embarrassing thing to wear on your feet. We've moved in our post-ironic world. They are now because I've seen a lot of fashionistas wearing Crocs.
Yeah.
And it's become more of a statement. Worn in a semi-ironic way, but there's now, it's like when you used to say a slang word at school or whenever. You start saying the slang word as a joke. Anyone. One.
Yeah.
Apologies. That wasn't clear.
When one would say a slang word.
When one incorporates slang into one's vernacular and vocab, you start using it as a joke, and then it becomes something that you actually say.
Yeah.
And you're not sure if you're happy about it or not.
And
that's what the Crocs are.
Okay. Well, last thing I'll say with the Crocs is you've already were pretty bold with when you would wear your like shitty fake Crocs.
You have no idea how bad it's going to get.
It's gonna.
They're
So I remember
gonna be
you went to a
worn
lot of
everywhere.
barbecues.
Yeah.
You went out. What was the most you ever pushed it with wearing a Croc out? Do you think?
Pubs.
Probably the pub.
Pub's probably the most. I've never gone mental, but
You've
the
never
thing
gone
is,
to the
I
clear.
can. So, I was gonna go to a museum on Saturday.
What happened?
That's not that interesting actually. But when I was discussing, I was bringing up my new Crocs with the people I was with, and I thought, you know what, going to a museum, I'd do it with these new ones. They're perfect for museum shoes.
Museum wear.
Museum wear. That's you can, especially like because you've got an instant bump in your personality looking at paintings wearing these.
Yeah.
I look like a guy who knows what he's looking at in paintings, even though I haven't got a fucking clue what's going on.
You're looking at the fire alarm button.
Yeah.
Going,
Oh, I'm seeing what he's doing there. But then, because I'm
Press
wearing
it.
the Crocs,
Okay.
other people are gathering round me. They're seeing what I'm seeing because of the power of my footwear influence.
You've got people in turtlenecks following you, looking at your Crocs with a sketch pad, thinking this is a moving piece of art.
Correct.
From a
Is he part of the museum? Is he part of the exhibition? He might well be. That's for you to decide.
When was the last time you went to a museum? You fucking idiot.
That's a loaded question.
You fucking moron.
A museum. Fucking hell. Oh my god. Well, a museum a while. I've been to a gallery. I don't know, whenever.
That's a museum.
Yeah. Well, it's not, is it?
Is it?
I don't.
I
It's a bullshit thing to try and work. To think there's a difference. I don't know. Well, not since before lockdown, and then I couldn't tell you. I went to one in Hungary with my mother.
Was it good?
Budapest. Yeah, massive.
Yeah.
Yeah, a lot of artwork.
Yeah. So it's weird adjectives. Massive.
It's hard.
How was the art class? Massive.
Massive. It was
loads
almost,
of loads.
in a sense, it was kind of terrifying. It was daunting.
Yeah.
Well, I say massive because it's impossible to not
Yeah.
find something you like in there because it went from
There's something for everything. There's something for
it went
everyone.
from like the 12th century to modern art.
Yeah.
So, and it was big.
Fun for all the family.
Fun for all the family. Go if you want. I don't care. It's really big. End of. When was the last time you went to a museum?
2 weeks ago, I think, to
Alright,
the
fucking-
Tate Britain, which I haven't been to. It's the one that just you don't normally go to that one. It's a bit out of the way, but very, very good. I like
been to
I
the
like
Tate Britain.
modern art ones because if they're good, great, and if they're shit, great.
Great,
Like
yeah.
I love modern
Yeah,
art
yeah.
museums because it
Yeah.
doesn't matter. Like shit, modern art is really fun.
Yeah.
Like because it's so subjective and like old art to stand the test of time has to fill a certain criteria of quality.
And
But
you've got a pretty extensive checklist. You're not much fun to go to a museum with at all. Oh, yes, yeah, correct.
But modern art, when they release new artists, it's not decided if it's shit or not. You need a bit of time.
That's for us
So
to
then
decide.
that's for you to decide.
Yeah.
And you can be like, wow, that's not going to last.
Yeah.
That is really fucking
I enjoy
shit.
the stakes are high because it's either absolutely revolutionary or just a
Yeah.
piece of shit.
Yeah, and it's
And
the
that is-
line is fucking.
Yeah, yeah, no, I completely agree.
So yeah, I'm a big fan.
Something I've noticed.
Go on.
We're approaching. It's December the 1st. It'll be December the 3rd.
Sorry, just like, can we put I feel in the show we should have like, because you consistently nearly every show you have observations, but there should be a way because I assume you had this observation in the sitting room, watching TV.
Potentially.
because a lot of, admittedly, we get at least 20 minutes out of them a week, so that, they're gold dust. They're the bread and butter of, they're the foundation of the podcast.
Sure.
But I wonder if there's a way.
Sounds like you're insulting me.
No, I'm not insulting. I'm
try
genuinely
not to
not.
insult me, but let's go. Yeah?
I'm genuinely not.
All you're saying is I spend a lot of time in the living room.
No, but I'm saying, is there a
I
way
have
to
to.
make it a segment? Because there's a lot of really
Andrew's living room revelations.
yeah, something like that. Because they all.
How about
Just
that?
the way. Yeah, that's good. I like that. Yeah.
Okay, fine. On this week's Andrew's living room revelations. Christmas. Is it coming too early? The answer is yes. Now, there used to be an uproar throughout the British public when someone would put
Hardworking people.
Hardworking. This hardworking nation. This hardworking independent nation. When someone would put their tree up in November, or you'd see Christmas decorations in November, or you'd see Christmas adverts on the TV in November, there used to be an uproar. That no longer happens. Have you noticed that this year, Christmas has just come 2 months earlier? Now, the reason that's happened is because last Christmas, all the Christmas ads started coming up early and the Christmas shops are doing their deals and everything early, was because they were saying, it's been a really tough year, we deserve an early Christmas.
And then we had the toughest Christmas of all time.
Well, yeah, sure. But it's saying, let's make Christmas as big a thing as possible, thereby justifying the early Christmas ads. That's what happened. Look back in the history books.
Is it earlier than usual? I think
it's never usually. You're getting like John Lewis Christmas ads before it hits December. That is fucking way
I think that
earlier.
happens every year.
No, it doesn't.
I think it might.
No,
do.
it doesn't.
I think it might.
No, it
do.
doesn't. It's happened earlier. Everyone I spoke to
might.
agrees with me. Doesn't agree with you. They said you're dumb. So you can the segment how Andrew's living room revelations work is that I speak and you shut the fuck up.
Okay.
So, what's happened is that the companies just wanted, it's in their interest to start advertising Christmas as early as possible to get people buying more and earlier. Because if you start buying earlier, you're going to buy more.
It's all about the cash.
It's all about that dollar. But now we live in a world that was justified due to COVID. But now we've just accepted it. And I believe we're going to get to a state in 150 years' time where Christmas starts in March.
Really? Do you think it's?
I've
do
done the maths.
Do you not think there's a clear limit where? I don't think it's going to be an exponential.
I will draw you a graph. It's exponential.
So would that mean? Do you
Because surely we should think, seeing a Christmas advert in mid-November, we've lost the plot.
Yeah.
Surely you'd think that. Therefore, we as a nation have no morality.
Do you think we could ever do? You'd start advertising next Christmas on maybe Boxing Day.
Well, but I mean, as the graph shows, maybe in 180 years, sure.
Do you think as soon as Christmas Day is over, not even the Christmas period,
it's what are you getting for next Christmas?
They're rolling.
I don't know.
What a hell!
But you're right. I should be thinking about that.
Yeah.
It's hell. Christmas is great. I like the food. I like spending.
You're a Christmas guy.
Time. I'm not really that much of a Christmas guy.
Okay, well, it sounded like you were.
No, I said by saying it's all right.
Christmas is great.
Yeah, Christmas is great. Yeah, it's great. You know, like the day is.
Yeah.
I don't like the month.
Yeah.
I like the day of Christmas. I don't like the month of Christmas.
Yeah.
I feel I've lost my train of thought now. But no, it's gone.
I like Christmas. I think.
Yeah.
I used to like it a bit more. I think it's always just about which kind of selection of the family you spend it with is how it works out. And I think this year it's going to be pretty good. Just like.
Why are you with your mums?
That's not even the main thing. I think for a while we spent Christmas with like, just because there were so many moving parts. I ended up. I don't like seeing people who I only see on Christmas. And I'll never ever see. So there was like 4 or 5 people on Christmas Day. Yeah. Extended family from my cousin's extended family. Yeah. Who I'd only see on Christmas Day, and then that depresses me. I don't like having the same small talk, but then a year's gone by, and it's just like. Neither of us actually care about each other's year, so it really
can
really
be just small talk, Christmas small talk.
That's kind of you want
to be with a family that you can.
You don't want to feel like a Christmas work party.
Correct. Yeah, that's it. Yeah, justifying your career choices over turkey isn't
photocopying your ass on the
photocopy. As any good Christmas should have. I realised this is what I was going to say is that I haven't really had a Christmas 2 years in a row now.
What was the one before?
The one before I was trapped here by myself.
No, I know that one.
The one before that, I was working 1 p.m. till 10 p.m.
Oh shit! Yeah.
So I've kind of forgotten what Christmas is like.
You think you're going to find the magic of Christmas?
I think so. Yeah. I think I'm ready to rediscover it.
Well, the problem that you have that I don't is that on your dad's side, there's young kids.
Yes.
And they're going to take a lot of space. Like emotionally, it's going to be about them. But I think.
Do you reckon?
I think it's time you took it back, because I think for too long.
That would be fucking great.
I think for too long.
It's Christmas morning. They're gathered round at the top of the stairs.
How old are your stepsister? Sorry, I don't mean to embarrass you. I know you don't know.
13 and 10.
13 and 10.
Or 11.
So those are key Christmas.
That was pretty good,
Those are
actually.
key Christmas ages, because one, you'll remember it and you're at the age. So it's like a key. This is when Christmas is
I
the
very
best.
nearly dropped the Santa Claus isn't real bomb in front of them.
Oh, really?
I can't remember how it happened, but Melissa kicked me under the table.
Yeah,
And I went, and then I had to literally... He's real. I said something that would have, like, I don't know, you'd have to be very in tune to get it, but
Yeah.
I'd had a couple of...
And they weren't.
They
They're
weren't.
not.
They're
The
off
lights
with the
are on, but no
fairways.
one's home.
No, I like that. It's Christmas morning. The two of them are gathering at the top of the stairs, shouting to their mum, my stepmom. Has Santa been? Oh, I've got to go and check. I come out in my PJ, kick him out the fucking way, shouting if Santa's been. I go down, I rip open all the presents, saying, "Which one's for me? Which one's for fucking me? Where am I? Where am I? Has Santa been? And look, he's eating the chocolates and all this stuff." I'm
Wait, who's eating the chocolates?
Santa. You leave chocolates out for Santa.
Oh, he's eating. Yeah.
He leaves them
I
out.
like the idea of more. I think how you should play it is, okay, the kids run out excited and you run out as excited, but kind of sincerely and not too aggressive, so that it's just really awkward for the mum.
Yeah.
Where they're kind of at the top of the stairs giggling and you're there as well. Like, and then it's just really kind of weird. And then whenever they're trying doing like little Christmas activities, you're always jogging along.
Can I join? Yeah. They know me as a very kind of quiet, removed character as well. So it would be an odd addition.
Well, I think you deserve it.
I think I deserve a Christmas. I'll be like, look, I haven't had this is my first one in 3 years now. So
look, kids.
Look, kids, I'm sorry.
Life gets tough.
This is about me this year. This is about me. Well, I don't know if would you think you'd like to be around young kids? Will you spend Christmas with me? No. Would you like the idea of being around young kids to rekindle the joy of Christmas, or are you quite comfortable in your newly formed adult Christmases?
That's a good question, because there was a weird thing, which is like I'm the youngest of my family on both sides.
So fucking crazy.
So like when Christmas stopped being this innocent thing for me, it's sort of the whole of Christmas shifted. I was the last one.
They were all waiting for you.
I was all waiting.
Yeah.
But then there's this awkward period which will be 10 years until someone has the first kid. Your body's changing.
The body's changing.
Oh no, because now my
weird
cousins
places.
have had kids, so it's now restarted.
Ah.
And now the cycle has restarted. But the last 4 Christmases, no one knew what to do because it was between young children. But now the new generation have just started, so it's restarted again. I think, I don't know. I feel when there's young kids, when you're in your early 20s and there's young kids enjoying Christmas, I feel there's something that's the worst age to be.
I think so too.
Because if you're an adult, then you can be the adult, they can be the kid. But when you used to be the kid and now no one gives a fuck about you and you feel so like, how much am I meant to enjoy Christmas? How much enjoying Christmas is lame as shit?
When I spent it with my dad like 2 years ago, he didn't even wake me up. It was a period in life. Like it gets to the point where they think you'll enjoy the lion more than you'll enjoy Christmas. And it was at the period when I was sleeping in pretty late. So I think I got up at like 11, and then they'd open all their Santa shells. I came down like bags under my eyes. Like, well, did he come? Yeah. Can I have a box fizz?
But also Christmas in my dad's side of the family own a Christmas gift shop.
They own Christmas magic. They own all the. How do they acquire all the Christmas
They
magic?
managed to commodify it and sell it.
It sounds like your dad.
A good profit. Let's get Christmas magic. Let's expand it. It's the future. But yeah, so Christmas, and now my uncle and aunt on that side now run the business as well. So it's the only real family business in my family is
I remember this,
is actually a very quaint shop that's in like a shopping centre.
That
a
sells
Christmas
shop. We
shop.
have been through this, and it surprises me that you could have a Christmas shop.
Yeah, me too. I guess and my cousins work there now, and I guess it's an
full time.
Yeah.
How?
That's it. Kind of feels a bit. I don't want to be degrading by asking. My main question is like how this seems very seasonal.
And what does that tell you? The Christmas period is getting longer and longer.
Yeah, maybe.
If they can work full time.
It's true. And so like, were you saying all this stuff at the Christmas period? I had to protect my family's interests.
It's your fault. It's your family.
It's
the
big
reason.
Christmas.
It's people like the Goulds.
We're a family-run business, all right. We're not big
That doesn't
Christmas.
excuse anything. It doesn't excuse shit.
But it does seem like a full-time thing because you buy all the stock up in like June, July. Still doesn't make sense.
No.
But
you've got to make a hell of a profit during November, December.
And there's the warehouse that they have still.
Well, fuck, maybe you can find out this Christmas.
And they sell a bit. Yeah, I will actually because it doesn't quite. They don't do anything else, and they make a decent enough living. So I don't.
Money laundering.
Must be. That'd be the perfect one, wouldn't it?
Oh, yeah.
Yeah.
Well,
no, it wouldn't actually.
No, it wouldn't because
so
where's all the money coming from?
Yeah, when you're having like a shitload of money in March.
What are you selling? Elf statues and Christmas crackers?
But yeah, we've got Christmas decorations coming out our arse. But it does mean that for that side of the year, Christmas...
Sorry, they're really squeaky at the moment. Yeah, go.
I wonder if that will last. Or is that
no, it won't. You've got to wear them in.
It's the new...
You've got to wear the concert.
So Christmas is a very much like the year is very much built towards Christmas as this.
Yeah.
Like that's kind of the
well, it's when you guys can eat.
Yeah. When we can, yeah.
When you can eat.
Exactly.
Yeah.
It's the only time we're not dieting heavily. But yes, I've been gigging out and about doing the Christmas period doing gigs out and about.
See,
is depressing.
The fact that you're even calling it the Christmas period.
Well, it is.
It's only
December.
just turned December.
Yeah, I guess so.
When was this gig?
It was last.
Wasn't
weekend.
tonight, was it?
It was last weekend, and I went out to Crawley.
You went to Crawley?
Yeah, and it was a Green King pub. 5-minute bus ride from Three Bridges Station.
Oh,
and it gave me a bit the. Yeah, I felt I don't know what's. I feel maybe since lockdown I've been feeling it makes me. I feel more and more just like I don't know uncomfortable just in some of these like really Tory areas. There's something that I don't know. It felt. Everything was a bit strange. Like one Green King pubs, I always.
You're becoming that London stereotype.
Yeah, and I'm trying to. And I never was really like that.
Tories hate.
Yeah, I mean, for starters, the manager who ran the pub was the closest to David Brent I've ever met in real life. It was like if David Brent had Guy Fieri's hair. It was actually black. It wasn't yet blonde. Actually, it was spiked up. He had the goatee, receding hairline, spiked up short, and. There was like this sort of green room.
Was he the manager of the pub or the
manager of the pub? Not at all involved in the comedy. Not at all.
It adds up. I've seen 1,000.
But then this thing that happens a lot of the time when there's comedians in town, in these sort of communities, it's like all these dads are not self-aware and they think they're super funny. So when there's a comedian comes in, someone who can do it for a living, they're fascinated just to see how they stand. So there was like a little curtain. And he would keep poking his head around the green room and just saying I can't fully remember what he said, but just he did it about 3 or 4 times where he would say the weirdest sort of aggressively friendly things that there's no actual answer to, but also a bit aggressive.
Yeah.
And then I did the gig and it was good. Apart from I did my joke about no room for racism. You know the one.
Yeah.
And
I can't imagine they are.
No, I it was the first time I did it out of London, and I
can't imagine they're the fans that are applauding them.
No, and I think it just that completely went over their head. And one guy literally said, "That's a shit joke, mate." Just said out. The audience all turned on him because they're all very nice.
Yeah.
But it was clear
they're drinking like spritzers or something.
Yeah, and the look. There's this sort of. I feel it's a very home counties aesthetic, which is the sort of like mock in look.
Yeah. Taking you back. Well, it's like his golden age thinking in a pub.
Yeah, there's something that's just so
cozy.
That so reminds me of Surrey, Sussex, and all of that.
Yeah.
Is that sort of mock in? It looks sort of like an old inn, but it's so copy and paste that it's and it's just
Green
it's
King
everywhere.
is a chain, isn't it? So I think that would be
but it seems to be very much. Did you see pubs like that all the time? And then afterwards, the people come up to you and start speaking to you, and it's just these really strange, stilted conversations. And the husbands are always making very weird, like one-liner jokes.
Do the wives say a lot? I can imagine the wives saying little.
Well, normally they don't, but then this wife came up to me, and they do this weird thing where they sort of like come up to you and expect you to carry the conversation.
But I think they expect you to still be on.
Yeah, and they're still hanging around. And it's very much like it was 4 comments on. We were talking. There's just general stuff. The comedians talking about sex and all that. But then there's very much
rock
like
and roll. You know what these comedians.
But she was literally like, okay. God, that was fun, but a bit weird.
Yeah,
bit crazy, a bit weird.
Yeah. In fairness, that's exactly how I'd expect my mum to react to your ad.
And then it's very much that kind of like a bit crazy.
It's like after I show a Wes Anderson film, it was like,
fucking hell.
What?
And something just really strange. She lived locally. She's like, I just live down the road. And I was like, I'm trying to get back to Three Bridges. Do you know when the next bus goes? She goes, you can get the bus, the number 3, but that doesn't go for another 40 minutes. Where are you going back to? I goes, London. Just walk to the Gatwick Airport station. I was like, isn't that far away? She's like, it's 5 minutes down the road. Trust. I live around it. 5 minutes. I was like, 5 minutes? But when I came, it's only 5 minutes down there. And she was like, no, I live around 5-10 minutes. Well, that's perfect. That's great. And I went on Google Maps. I was like, great. I'll type it in. It just came up and it went 45-minute walk.
Ramblers. Now,
and then I was like,
never trust directions or time presumptions from ramblers. And 95% of people in the home counties ramble. Never trust a rambler.
It's true. They do. And yeah, like Partridge, they ramble.
They ramble.
And then I was like, I was trying to avoid walking to Three Bridges, which was a half-an-hour walk, which is less than Gatwick Airport. And she was like, look, I live around here, trust me. I showed her on my phone, just like, is this
Yeah.
I was more checking that I hadn't got the train station wrong, and there's a different train station. He goes, oh no, they're taking you a long way. There's a short, I was like, what shortcut could make that 45-minute walk into 10 minutes?
In fairness, a very good one.
She was like, you could just, trust me, you just get out on the road and then it's just 5 minutes up the road. And it was like, you're completely...
Well, that's the thing. And
don't trust local knowledge always, is what I've learned.
And to be honest, I was going to say it's a home county thing, but that's an everywhere thing.
Yeah.
Every single person thinks that they know the best way to get around in an area that they live in.
Yeah.
Now, even if... And it's an immediate distrust of technology.
Yeah.
That technology
Luddites.
doesn't have the capabilities. GPS doesn't have the capabilities.
No,
Don't be stupid. There's much more to this town.
Take the little footbridge down by the
There's
brook.
a Twitten just round there. Turn right at the Twitten. But make sure you don't hit the canal or you've gone too far. Just relax. Most of the time, Google Maps are getting it right.
Yeah.
But it's the pish posh.
It was more saying to me with fully confidence, I live around here, trust me. No, she says, I do that walk every day. It's 5-10 minutes, trust me. And then it being 45 minutes. What is going on in your head? That's mental.
And I can imagine in your situation, you're obsessed with just like bridging the gap between her perspective and the facts.
Yeah.
I'd always get to the point where, okay, come and walk with me then. Walk with me now.
Part of me I was like, I'm going to sit in this just to work out, at least so I can work out, you know.
Yeah.
I was hoping that she'd be like, oh, sorry, yeah, I'm really bad with timing and stuff. But she stood, no, that's.
I don't know. I think... Now, having lived now in both the countryside and the city, I think 5 to 10 minutes in the countryside is about half an hour, and the 5 to 10 in the city is about 5 to 10.
Yeah. Do you think there's just a different conception of time?
A different conception of time, because long walks, when you're growing up in the countryside or you live there, long walks become normality for you. There's often because things aren't close together.
No.
And you might want something might just be on like the cusp of walking ability rather than getting a taxi, which the money comes out. Therefore, you change your perspective of distance in order to meet the requirements of the place that you live in.
Yeah, it's true. But yeah, blown away. And I'm never leaving London again is the takeaway.
Can we discuss rambling?
Please.
What is it? Walking in hills and woodland
I think
areas.
it's walking without a particularly specific aim.
Leisure walking.
Yeah, it's yeah.
Is it like in a big group? I think I've been on a ramble once. I remember rambling once.
My mum's side of the family are ramblers.
They ramble frequently.
I mean, they've got ramble gear.
When it's not Christmas, of course.
Oh well, Christmas is everyone rambling, so that's.
But they've got a shop to run.
No, that's my dad's side.
That's
of the
your
family.
dad's side.
My
So
dad's
they don't
side.
ramble.
There's the Christmas magic side, and there's the ramblers.
Right. So the Christmas magic side don't have time to ramble because they're too busy running their 24/7 Christmas
Exactly.
shop.
There's one which is like.
Is their Christmas shop opens 24 hours, 7 days a week?
There's the Christmas Mafia.
Yes.
And then there's the ramblers who are like characters from like an Enid Blyton novel. They're all sort of like bizarre, like radically quaint, ridiculously quaint.
Yeah.
So yes, they'll ramble across sea.
Sure, they'll ramble.
They'll ramble hard, but I mean, there'll be rambling sticks. There'll be rambling gear. There'll be
those
rucksacks that you can put a little anorak over.
Do they have the two sticks that are made by like Peter Storm?
I think they actually ramble so hard that they
only
don't need
one.
this.
That's interesting because if I saw someone with two sticks, I'd probably immediately jump to they ramble. Whereas maybe the real ramblers, the less sticks you have, the more actually of a skilled rambler you are because you don't need the poles to navigate the difficult terrain that you're naturally going to encounter on the ramble.
Yeah.
We should go on a ramble and film it. We can go on our own ramble because you can join a rambling group.
When you said I think I've only been on one ramble?
I was probably
I've
about
been on
7.
many. Really? So your family don't ramble?
We don't ramble. We do musical theatre. You do one.
You got a dog though?
No, we didn't have it when I was young.
So have you not done a big family walk outside of Christmas?
That isn't a ramble.
Okay.
Because I think ramble is more of an organised group of other like-minded walkers walking together across the terrain.
Related or friends, not.
No. Because that's just a walk.
They would never meet up with strangers to ramble.
So I don't think they're ramblers.
Okay, maybe.
I think ramblers you get in. I think you get in a big group, which is kind of sweet in itself, but also pretty crazy. A rambler, a person who walks in the countryside for pleasure.
Yeah.
Rambling. Well, then we'll just call it walking, you dickheads.
Because it's rambling.
Lengthy and confused or inconsequential. Well, yeah, of course.
That's rambling.
The activity of walking in the countryside for pleasure. A rambling club is the example. So I think there are rambling clubs. Yeah. Technically, if you walk in the countryside, you're rambling, unless you're walking there for a purpose.
I think ramblers are also doggers. I feel there's a
I also think people who ramble, and I might be offending your whole family.
Please.
People who say they ramble.
Take them down a notch.
Take way too much of their personality in liking walking. Just say you went on a walk. Just say you walk. As soon as you say, we ramble. Oh, yeah, we're a rambling family. We're a rambling family.
No, that's very true.
Then you're dickheads.
No, but admittedly, they're never like that at all. They wouldn't even know what rambling is, but they are. That's why they're authentic ramblers. But if you say, we just went on a little ramble, then you can go ramble off a cliff, my friend.
Ramble off a cliff.
You can ramble to your death.
Big on, yeah.
But I do think there is a big connection to me. When I see ramblers, I'm like... When I see a group of ramblers...
The word's starting not to make any sense now.
If I see a group of ramblers, I'm like...
Which you often do.
That's them in the daytime. In the nighttime, they are dogging. Doggers and ramblers.
Dogging often happens in remote locations.
Yeah.
And how are they getting?
It's countryside.
How are they getting to the remote locations?
They ramble.
They're rambling there.
So they ramble as the sun goes down, and then they get in their car and they dog.
And then they fuck each other.
It seems very pleasant when you've got Dora in her Peter Storm jacket, just struggling over here. When you see her getting piped by Craig.
When she's getting... in fact, the long sticks are actually used for something else when they get later on in the evening.
God, yeah.
I didn't think of it.
To hold the legs up like stirrups.
Yes. So just think twice before you next see a group of ramblers and you think, aren't they having a pleasant, lovely time?
They're going to go fuck in a car.
They're all going to go fucking swap husbands and wives in a car. I mean, more power to them. But don't pretend you're something you're not, which is dirty sex pests.
Thank you. You've watched some films recently. You watched House of Gucci, which has been panned.
More like House of Snorchy. Like a snore.
It's like 2.5 hours long. Ridley Scott as well.
It's not 2.5 hours.
2 hours 45?
2 hours 45 minutes. 2 hours 45 minutes of my time. And I was pissed off about the run time before I went in.
How excited were you going in? How
I was minus.
Those are the two.
-3, not drunk at all.
Okay.
-3, not drunk at all.
It wasn't the James Bond fiasco.
It wasn't the James Bond fiasco when I was plus 100 and absolutely fucked. No, I was minus. Yeah, I was not excited. Which then always, I like to, in life, as I've discussed on this podcast before as well, I'm trying to work on reducing my expectations of things.
And yourself.
And myself. I just want to be a less skillful, accomplished man. But there was...
Were you actually trying to stop getting so...
Yeah, because you just always enjoy shit more when you're not excited for it.
So
if you're really gassed for something, it always lets you down.
That's why I'm a cynicist.
Yeah, exactly. But I'm quite an aggressive optimist.
True, that's why I'm so cynical about
exactly. No, that's not why. That's just who you
are.
No,
it is why. No, it is. Actually.
No, it's not.
It's actually,
no, it's not.
It actually is.
Here we go. So yeah. Well, no, because I've spoken about it before. You're very rare. You can't be let down by something you're not excited for. So even if I'm excited for something, I always be like, yeah, this might happen. I'm just starting to bring in pessimism into my life. What? Going to the... I'm about to be executed.
You're on the Green Mile.
I'm on the Green Mile. I don't think... I mean, when something's got such a definitive end...
But if you're really pessimistic about it...
Then you could have fun.
You could be like...
It's better than I thought. Not the worst. Well, whilst being electrocuted. I mean, I wasn't expecting much, but this isn't as bad as I thought it might be.
It's mindset. You can enjoy anything if you. It's about managing expectations. That's all.
Managing expectations.
That's what Buddhism is partly about. It's about slightly about that's about what happens. Anyone who's actually depressed, it's about the dearth between reality and expectation.
Dearth, big up dearth.
Big dearth.
Yeah, no, I agree. And
I know a lot of people on the Green Mile are listening to this pod. Because I know that's one of the few privileges they get is once a week.
Once a week.
They have this old-timey radio wheeled in, and they listen to.
So only audio. They don't get the video.
No.
That's a shame.
So they don't get to see the Crocs.
I was wondering why there was.
Then someone comes out with a printed-off picture of the thumbnail.
Yeah. Oh, this is it. Oh, okay. Yeah, I was wondering why we get a lot of viewers from Guantanamo Bay. But no, I went in with low expectations because the problem is with having low expectations for everything is there's a joy in being excited for something, and that can make your time. You could be when you're looking forward to something that can make your time in the run up to it a lot better because you're just excited.
And you're spending more time.
I'm spending more time being like, oh, well, this is going to be bad, and then having a bad time then, and then having a good time for the thing that you're leading up to. So it's about striking the balance.
Yeah,
it's a really complex psychological strategy that I haven't quite nailed or honed yet, but I'll let you know how it goes.
I'm sure you will.
But for a 2-hour 45 film that I wasn't that interested in anyway, that's your perfect time to be kicking off.
What time did you? Sorry, what? Is this a weekend viewing? Is this a
Friday night viewing? About
prime time.
Prime time.
So this is your Friday evening.
It's the day it came out.
So this is Friday. This is
which is not something that sits well with me because I like a Friday evening. But I was actually ill for it, so which kind of worked out.
Sure.
2 hours 45. I was livid before I went in. I was like, this isn't a sci-fi film. We're not going into Lord of the fucking Rings.
Yeah.
We're going into the House of Gucci. Okay?
So they better have a lot of shit in this house.
They better have a lot of shit. This house better not be in order.
Yeah.
This house is in order, so it's got a lot of
narrative.
My tagline, if I was doing some sort of review for it, which I guess I am.
I wish all reviewers were
all reviewers
like, just always
I guess if I'm doing that.
Sort of. I guess if anyone cares what I have to say.
Not dramatic enough to be a drama, not funny enough to be a comedy.
But there was a lot of comedy attempted.
And it was getting, it was the first day of it in the cinema. Oh, I've got a good story from actually. It's the first day of it in the cinema, and so it was fairly packed cinema. It was getting laughs from some abhorrent jokes. Just lazy, nothing jokes. It was getting laughs. Jared Leto is a caricature of himself.
I've heard Commode really go in.
Commode, because Jared Leto, if I'm honest, he was the best thing about the film for me.
Oh, really?
Yeah, the best thing about the film because I enjoyed watching it.
Did you see Commode's review of him?
Yeah, it was perfect.
He's like,
you could
just see him just
acting,
just screaming for that Oscar nod. Just never been more
shouting that he's acting and then not being in tune with anyone else in the cast, but just because he does. And he's just mental in it. He's absolutely mental. And I think he's, this whole... Similar to the Andrew Scott way of acting.
Sure.
Of everything is accentuated. I'm a crazy Italian man. And, it's a starting a lot. And suddenly I'm up here.
Acting's about decisions. And every decision is a bold decision.
Every decision was a bold decision. He took it from the Andrew Scott. And I enjoyed it because he was making me laugh. It was half. He did a couple of good lines, don't get me wrong. It was half laughing at him, half laughing with him.
Like Crocs.
Yeah, that's a thinker. I'll get back to you on that. But yeah, no, he was... I hate him.
Okay, me too.
He's
one of my least favourite.
I used to admire the fuck out of him.
Yeah, but we were young, and
we were young and stupid, and then now I look at him and like,
I think the Joker is where everyone was like, oh,
you're actually a bit of a bellend.
Yeah, and he's just someone once again.
Look at his Instagram. I'm wearing a hat.
Yeah, he just enjoys.
Look at my purple hat.
He enjoys being a star too much.
Exactly.
Brad Pitt is a huge star. He seems to enjoy it the right amount.
Yeah.
Do you know what I mean?
Hate it.
Yeah, exactly.
Yeah.
Well, he's cool about it because, and he doesn't bog you down with his own self-hatred or self-love. He's just like,
in between.
Yeah.
So it was basically, and long story short, there was no, there's a bit of a tussle over, who's going to get who's going to be head of Gucci and all this stuff, and, the marriage breakdown between Adam Driver and Lady Gaga. None of the characters were likable. I couldn't give a flying fuck who ended up with Gucci. And there was nothing really going on. There was a bit of mad drama that happened at the end that I wasn't... That should have been, the focus. If they brought it down an hour, it could have been so much better and actually entertaining. But it was just that kind of bigger drama. No, I'm not going to do any spoilers, but that bigger drama happened 2 hours in. He didn't give a shit by that point. Yeah. Just get me out of it.
But why so long?
There was no completely unnecessary. Absolutely. To shave half an hour off that, easy.
Yeah.
I could do it.
But so Ridley Scott...
Send me the editing.
He's got 2 films out. He's still working hard. So he has 2 films out. And what was the other film he has out at the moment that seemed, I think, was pretty good? I don't know how he's managed to produce at this rate still. And I am a big fan of Ridley Scott.
Yeah, me too.
What I like about Ridley Scott is there's a no-nonsenseness about him where that he's one of those guys who, him talking about film, it's like opening act, big star. All films should have it.
He blamed the lack of success of one of his films. I can't remember what it was.
Oh, it was
the millennial generation.
It was the one about the rape in medieval France
with Matt Damon.
Yeah.
Yeah. He blamed the lack of box office success due to the millennial generation's lack of attention span.
It's true. Yeah.
Which I kind of rate. I think your film does badly. Yeah. It's people's attention span's fault. Something funny happened in the cinema.
You pulled it back.
I pulled it back. Because it was hilarious for me there.
Yeah.
But we'll see how it translates.
Sure.
Let's give this a go. Everyone buckle in. We're about to have a story time. We'd sat down. The film had just started. It was very packed cinema. And a group of about six people then arrive late to the film. They come in and they're stumbling a bit. And whatever, they're just a bit drunk. It seems it's quite dark or whatever. 2 of them then get their phone flashlights on. And are very obnoxiously kind of searching around the cinema, looking for their seat. Cinema seats aren't the most difficult code to decode, in my opinion. The rows go up and down. The seats are then numbered adequately and corresponding to the distance from the aisle. It took them a good 5 minutes to find their seats. And I noticed that they were stumbling more and more and their faces were completely dazed over. A lot of them were crouching unnecessarily.
Yeah.
I came to the conclusion that this group were absolutely jacked up on acid.
Okay.
There was no possible
other
alternative.
explanation. Yeah.
So they eventually find their seat after... I'm sitting in the divide between the top half of the cinema and the bottom half, so there's more leg room. So they're coming...
Are you watching them constantly?
Oh, of course. There's nothing to watch on screen.
So your eyes are glued to
them. Of course, and that's better drama. If you want to go see theatre, go to the fucking cinema and look at the people. So they're coming up and down, and their seats are just 1 row in front of ours. So they come over, and then instead of just walking round, they're clambering over the seats. People are being knocked into, etc. It's frustrating at the start because of their lack of politeness.
Yeah.
But it becomes so much more than that as we go further into the film. One of them was particularly fucked. She gets up to go to the toilet, stands up.
Doesn't seem drunk. Fucked.
Yeah, she does seem drunk. Fucked. She stands up, climbs over the seat, And then literally, instead of just walking out of the cinema like normal people, because you can't crouch enough to get out of people's way, she honestly, her head was at her knees and she was crouching out like that, stumbling about, went to the toilet. She then comes back from the toilet 10 minutes later, comes out into the cinema bit and then walks towards. So I'm sitting on the end of the row with that, with a lot of space in front of me. She's clear. She walks in, stumbles in, honestly, stumbling like that. Then crouches down and like squat walks like that. And then clearly has forgotten where her seat is. And I promise you, she is standing where you are. So imagine the screens behind you. You're me, I'm her. Just standing. And she stands there for ages. And I'm just literally sitting there, just looking at her. Just looking.
She sits in front of you.
She's blocking my entire view.
I mean, luckily you didn't care about the film. If you actually did, it would actually be quite fucking
I didn't give a shit. So I was just standing there watching her, just sitting there. And she was blocking all my view, just crouching. And so the people that were sitting next to me had clocked how fucked she was as well. And we were laughing about it together. But she was there like almost holding onto the chairs, just looking. And I went, your seat's over there. It's over there. And then She didn't reply. Still just looking like that, just looking around. She must have been on acid, and I was like,
was it proper?
Proper, because what drug? It can't. If she was drunk, she was absolutely larried. Like, no, it was weirder than that. And I was like, no, it's just your seat's down, because it got too long now. It's like I want to see some of the film, and Jared Leto would come on.
I want to see some of the film.
So how long was it?
It was like the first 20 minutes.
First 20 minutes, it was funny.
And now I was like, all right, maybe something might have...
When we hit the hour mark, I was like, come on, love. I got your seat's over there. The seat's over there. And she's nothing's going into her mind, and then she just looks at me, and then sees that I've been saying something, and then she just sits down on the floor. She sat, so bearing in mind, there's not that much leg room. She's basically sitting on my feet. I'm just still sitting there. I'm going, now instead of going, your seat's over there, I'm going, your seat's over there. It's down there. And she went, and then eventually got up, started walking towards where her seat was, and then stopped again. So the people that were laughing at her with me...
Where's her crew?
They're the row in front.
Are they not saying anything?
They're too fucked to know they haven't got a clue what's going on. They don't know what's going on in the film, let alone behind them with her. So she stops again, grasping the wall. And she's like standing. She stood on my feet so much. She's almost holding onto people's knees, just staring, looking like this. And then they would go, like laughing a lot. Your seat's over there. It's down. You're right. You're there. You're so close. She eventually made it. She then went to the toilet again. And this, she'd sobered up a little bit, because this time she just came in front of me, stopped, crouched,
and you thought,
and then looked around. Oh, for God's sake! We all started laughing quite immediately, and then I think she came to herself and realised where it was. But again, it was like when you see people clamber over seats, like her feet are going over her head, and she's like clambering over. But that was great. It was a weird choice of film to drop acid for. 2 hours and 45 minutes of House and Gucci.
I wonder what Jared Leto's performance would be like when you're on acid.
Demonic.
Yeah. Also, we both watched The French Dispatch.
Yeah, we did.
And disagreed. French Dispatch, which we were meaning to talk about for a while, but so it is a bit late to it. But when did you watch that? How long ago did you watch it?
2 weeks ago?
2 weeks
Two and
ago.
a half?
Watched it about 3 weeks ago. You really liked it.
I loved it. I thought it was brilliant.
Yeah. I was left completely just it was exactly what I expected, and I didn't go in with huge expectations, and I was kind of like, it's all great, obviously, but if it doesn't connect with you in any way, and I feel like it felt weirdly dated.
Did James Bond connect with you in a lot of ways?
It did.
Yeah, that's what I was going to say, yeah.
It did. But I thought it was interesting that it was like, Wes Anderson at his peak was like from like 2008 to 2014, where he was like the kind of high art version of mumblecore, or that sort of like quirky independent cinema.
Yeah.
He was like the kind of, and his effect on pop culture is huge, and like everything was Wes Anderson-y, and the quirkiness and quaintness came in.
Yeah. And
it was obviously great at the time, but there was something that felt like him still being so Wes Anderson.
I think you said that's this for every film that you've seen of his, though. After he's ascended to the heights he has, then afterwards, it's like, yeah, that's his style. And I don't think having a really specific style demerits the film.
It doesn't, but it just felt like Wes Anderson. It's partly not his fault because of how intensely he's been copied and loved and been on trend. It felt like Isle of Dogs and this one. It felt a bit like sort of we've moved on.
Isle of Dogs was not good.
No,
but this was brilliant. Like, I think, like, in terms of his aesthetic, he put it on ket, on coke, on whatever, on drugs. Yeah. Whatever that lady was on or that cinema, I put it on. As in, every single shot was... I know every single shot in his is always beautiful, but every single shot, I always thought about just, like, how the production of how you can actually create that shot was astonishing. There wasn't one shot in that film.
I don't think it was his best-looking film, though.
I think it was.
I don't think it was as good as Moonrise Kingdom or Budapest. Or even
I think
Royal Tenenbaums.
I think it was more visually impressive rather than good looking.
Yeah,
the feat of like for an hour and a half film to have every single one of those shots.
I think it was a change when I was growing up and starting to get into film. I think there was I was so drawn to anything that was so visually bold.
Yeah.
And it's like, especially when you want to make films, you kind of want to just make every shot fucking amazing. And I think now I've started to shift more where I'm starting to lose connection with excessive style because I'm like, I've been through that and it wasn't enough for me because it's this weird thing. And to be fair, I don't particularly like Wes Anderson's films that much anyway, looking back on them. I like them for an hour. I kind of always have. So like, every Wes Anderson film.
Every one?
Pretty much. I mean, yeah, pretty much. I watch a Wes Anderson film.
They're
funny, but it's
Fantastic
like an hour. They set up the world. Great. The opening 20 minutes is always brilliant.
Yeah.
Apart from this one, I still wasn't blown away by it. But normally 20 minutes is like Moonrise Kingdom, what amazing world. Grand Budapest, fucking awesome. Royal Tenenbaums is a perfect example of like actually his best opening to a film ever, setting up the whole family. And then after an hour with the same tone, I just start to lose it. And
I agree, but
it's really stylized with his acting, which is they all... And I've almost found it kind of like him using the same actors, brilliant actors. And when I was growing up watching it, I was like, this is so cool. He's got Bruce Willis doing this. Seeing the same actors over and over again, when I saw them appear again, it felt like, oh, of course. It just didn't... It actually didn't have any surprise for me when I saw the same array of characters. Bill Murray, obviously we all love Bill Murray. Bill Murray's brilliant. Bill Murray being Bill Murray in a Wes Anderson film again, the same dude again. It just left me cold. And there's something interesting about having that much talented actors and sort of forcing them to all have to basically be cogs in a machine.
Yeah.
Which I think I used to really like, and obviously I like Kubrick, who does very similar things. But there's something that it was almost like pointless having these actors where they're all just the same guy. Yeah. They're all the same person doing the same thing in the same way as ever. And I think that sort of like quaintness.
I like seeing... I agree in some ways.
Benicio del Toro was a new thing, and he stood out the most.
Oh, 100%.
And the modern art story of the three stories was pretty good. I guess, but then also, what would Wes Anderson do? I kind of like... Maybe you'd want him to do something that was like... He's done so many of these films. We get what we're going to get with Wes Anderson. I like seeing modern art in his films because it's so traditional and quirky and like the 20s. I guess maybe I would like to see in a whole film set in a modern art gallery or something that kind of really forced his hand. Him going to France.
Yeah, but can you not just enjoy what it is? You might know what you're going to get, but you can still go in and enjoy it.
Like, I think I did,
you can get loads of different things. It doesn't need to be a awe-inspiring, world-changing kind of film.
Yeah.
You know what you're going to get from Wes Anderson, and that's entertainment, comedy, and beautiful shots.
But then even the comedy, it's like, I remember...
There was some, I laughed out loud quite a few times.
I guess when I first saw that kind of comedy, it blew my mind. And for some reason, I was like, the jokes... It felt weird. Maybe it's because of the amount of time that's passed. Just seeing a Wes Anderson do another Wes Anderson film, the most Wes Anderson has ever been, with actually the worst storyline because it's so disjointed.
Well, it wasn't a storyline; it was an anthology.
And I think that doesn't actually suit Moonrise Kingdom is my favourite one because it had the most. I think if you're going to be that stylized, and I'm being really harsh on him, I still think he's brilliant.
Yeah.
If you're going to be that stylized and maintain interest when you're making this matchbook thing that's actually quite detached from reality, it should actually have a real. It's about the substance and storyline that runs through it. And so I found the anthology actually kind of broke up my connection with it. So it was just a...
Yeah, I get that.
It was just a
But
rolling on...
That's something that was just interesting as a difference. As in, if you're going in, you don't want the same old. It was different, drastically different in its form.
Yeah. And
which I liked.
It was black and white. I found, apart from the first story, the stories were pretty dull and...
That was the one. I think the narrative of the last two could be improved. I agree with that. The first one was fucking great.
It was good. It was good. And I don't know. It was interesting, you know, just how much I've changed from absolutely loving it to being just kind of, it just washed over me when I was like, I did actually enjoy it, honestly. Yeah. Because it was great seeing it. But it was like a flick book of...
Yeah. I think what was nice as well, because I'd been to Bond and June were the two films I saw before that. So I was just excited to go see an hour and 45.
Oh, yeah.
An hour and 45 just with some jokes, with some comedy, just to zip through, enjoy your fucking time there. So like that was something I felt it gave a lot with all of these films. Because even fucking House of Gucci, 2045.
Yeah.
That's the first film.
I was excited to watch it because it felt like
it's the first film that I've been to at the cinema post-lockdown that was under 2 hours and a half, which is mental. But yeah, no. I don't know. I enjoyed it a lot. I just looking at, because almost stepping back and looking at it from the production point of view, just how difficult it is to create the shots that he creates, and I don't get bored of that. And I think he did it one of the best he's ever done in that film. Yeah,
weirdly, I'm normally so if I watch films with like my friend Sam, I'm nearly always the one who's like appreciating the filmmaking and the visuals, and yes, okay, and then he's always viewing it just did I enjoy it or not, and so I'm nearly always on that side where just I'm always blown away by but for like is that for example with like Tenet, which is a ridiculous film, but the craft of it still I was still kind of interested in it. But yeah, this one I think it is Wes Anderson through and through. And I think that's... You got anything else to say?
Nothing.
We've said everything we had to say. Subscribe to the Patreon. We've got a couple of new patrons in this week.
Welcome.
And we got some guests line up, hopefully soon. So yeah, stay swanky, stay swave, and keep it wheezy.
Yeah, that sounds about right.
That sounds
to me.
good.
Yeah, all adds up.